All right, hello. As of right now, it looks like I'm the only one here at this meeting, which is fine. And I'm going to go back and redo basically what I did this morning. So I'm going to create the guessing game program. After I create the guessing game program, I'm going to quickly go over the extra program that you can do if you want to, which is a coin toss program. And after that, I'm going to very slowly go over the last program, which is the Magic 8-Ball program. All right, so I am going to start up right now. So again, I'm going to basically just repeat the stuff that I did this morning. Okay, so this morning what I did was I went over the guessing game program. Then after the guessing game program, we quickly went over and talked about this coin toss program. It's an extra program. And then we went over the Magic 8-Ball program. So I'm going to just start from, no pun intended, but I'm going to start from scratch. And I'm going to click the create button right here. And I'm going to start up a brand new program that I'm going to call Jeffrey P. JEFFREYP dash or 4444 dash just GG for guessing game. And I'm just going to take this from the top nice and slow. So to start with, I want to come in and I want to create some variables. Now we had not looked at variables previously, but I want a guessing game and I want the cat to basically give a message and say that we're about to create a guessing game. You have to guess a number between 1 and 100. And you will guess the number. That number that you guess will be known as your current guess. The program itself will create a random number between 1 and 100. That variable will be a random number. There will also be a variable for the total number of guesses that you've made. And guesses are only numbers between 1 and 100. So if you don't put in a number for a guess, or you guess a number that's less than 1, or a number that's greater than 100, it won't be counted as a quote official guess, unquote. Finally, there'll be one more variable. It's one of those Boolean variables that we talked about yesterday, and it'll be called play again. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my variables section down here, and I'm going to click the make a new variable button that you see here. And my first variable will be called current guess. I don't need it to show right here, so I can click on the arrow there, and I'll do that for all 4 of the variables that I create. Play again. Make sure it's set up for all sprites and not for this sprite only. Oops. Number of guesses. And finally, random number. All right, so those are my 4 variables. Okay, all right, so that's done as of right now. Next, just for something a little different, I'm going to go over here to backdrops, and I'm going to choose a backdrop. All right, let's put Scratch out on the beach. There you go. Okay. And what I do want to do is every time I start up a brand new game, I want to initialize all these variables. The current guess, the number of guesses, the play again, and the random number. I want to basically recreate those each time. And I'm going to I'm going to do that in a routine because I want to do this more than once. So I'm going to go down to blocks here, and I'm going to click where it says my blocks and make a block. And I will call this prepare for a new game. We can call it whatever we want. And it creates this new block, and now it wants me to define it. So that's what I'm going to do next. So the first thing that I want to do in here is I want to basically come in here and give the person a message. So I want to say, I don't know, it doesn't really matter exactly what I say, but I'll say welcome. The computer will generate a random number between 1 and 100. You try to guess that number, please. And I'll leave it up for a little longer too. I'll double that, make it 4 seconds. All right, so if I run that now, there's Scratch, welcome. The computer will generate a number between 1 and 100. You try to guess that number, please. Okay, great start. All right, next I want to go in and I want to basically initialize my variables. The order in which I do these does not matter. So I will come in and first, there's my current guess. And let's set that current guess to 0. That's good. Then we want to go and set our number of guesses also to 0. Next, we want to set our play again. We'll set that to true, meaning yes, we do want to play a game. And finally, we'll set our random number. Now this one will be done a little bit differently. Okay, why? Because we want to come over here and we want to set random. And there we go. We want a random number between 1 and 100. It might be a little hard to read, so let me make this a little bigger. So that's what I have right now. Okay? So for prepare a new game, we have a message here that says, welcome. The computer will generate a random number between 1 and 100. You try to guess that number, please. And then we are initializing our variables by setting current guess to 0, number of guesses to 0, play again to true, and our random number to picking a random number between 1 and 100. So that's our start. All right, then I'm going to go over here to my events, and I'm going to do a when clicked and start writing some code. So the first thing I want to do is I actually do want to prepare the game. So I go back to my block, and now I'm calling prepare for a new game. So when I click this now, what should happen, there was one more thing I wanted to do in here. Sorry about that. And that is I wanted to, when I was done, I wanted to say number generated. I said good luck before. Let's change it a little bit. We'll say number generated, start guessing. And again, I'll leave that for 4 seconds. So if I run the program now, it's going to call this. So notice if I click the green flag, there's my message. Number generated, start guessing. Okay, that's a good start. That's exactly what I want to start doing. All right, so the next thing that I want to do is I want to come in here and I want to start writing some code. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to click over here and I want to bring up an ask. And I want to ask the user to please guess a number between 1 and 100. So please guess a number between 1 and 100 below. Okay, so all that's changed on this, if I were to run it again, still get that, still get the message, but now watch what it'll say. It says, please guess a number, and it expects it right in here. But if I put a number in, 100, and guess, nothing happens, because I haven't told anything to happen yet. And I'm going to do that right now. So What happens when you ask a question like this and that little box comes in down below, that elliptical box where you can enter something? It puts it into a variable and that variable is called answer. All right, in fact, here it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to my variables and I'm going to set current guess, which is what that was, to answer. All right. In fact, I forgot something that before I ask, I want to make sure that I stop playing this when I want to stop. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to find a repeat until. There is a repeat, but there is a repeat until in here. So I want to repeat until what? Well, in here, I want to repeat this until play again is equal to false. Oops, not false, so false. And play again has got to go in there. Now I can put this in. In fact, all of the rest of the code that I'm putting in will be inside of this repeat until block. All right. Now, right now, I'm not going to run it anymore because if I did, it's in an infinite loop and I'm not giving myself any way to get out. So right now we did this. We ran our prepare for a new game where we gave the welcome message and we took our 4 variables and we gave them all initial values. And we told the user basically we're ready to start playing. Then when clicked, we called prepare for a new game, which ran that code. Then we said repeat until play again equal false. And remember, we set it to true up here, so we will be coming in and going through this. So it says, please enter a number between 1 and 100 below. All right. And then set current guess to this. Everything's good so far. But what if we put in a bad guess? We put in something that's non-numeric, or we put in something that's less than 1, or we put in something that's greater than 100. In that case, we're putting in or creating what's called an out of range guess. So if either, and I'm going to grab one of these OR blocks here, if either the current guess is less than 1 or it's greater than 100, I'm going to give them an error message here. How do I do that? Well, I come down here and I've got to find here's my less than. I always have problems the first time I do this, sorry. And here's the greater than. And I want to put current guess here and here. So if the current guess is less than 1 or the current guess is greater than 100, what do I know? I know I've made a mistake. So what I want to do is I want to let them know they made a mistake. So I'm going to do one of these says. Again, I like mine a little longer, so 4 seconds, and not hello, but I'm going to say out of range guess must be between 1 and 100. Please try again. Okay, so I'm going to put that in. So notice now, if I come in and I run this, there's my beginning message. Now it's generated. Now it's telling me to guess. So I'm gonna leave it blank. Out of range guess must be between 1 and 100. Please try again. That's a good start. I'm gonna put in something that's alphabetic in here. Same error message. I'm going to put in again a number that's less than 1. I put in -55, error message. And then I'm going to put in a number that's greater than 100, 111. All of those 4 bad cases, so to speak, they all worked. All right. So if I get down to this point in this else, I do know one thing. I've made a valid guess. My guess was numeric, and my guess was a number between 1 and 100. So the first thing I want to do is I want to come in here, and I basically want to change my current guess by 1. I've made a valid guess, so I want to add 1. I'm sorry, not change, not current guess, number of guesses. Okay, because now I've made a valid guess. So I've made my number of guesses is now 1. But now I have to check and see if it's one of 3 things now. It's either A, let's suppose that 50 was the number generated and I put in 40. Then A, the number that I guessed is less than the random number. So I put in another number, I put in 60. Now I get a message that the number I've guessed is greater than the random number. I've made 2 guesses so far. All right, then I guess 50. So it should come up then and tell me that I guessed correctly. So I'm going to have in here an if, else, if block first. And we'll actually have 2 of them in here. So here's an if, then, else. Again, all of this code should be inside of this repeat until. Okay. So it doesn't matter which one you check, but really there's only a 1 out of 100 chance that you're going to guess correctly. So you really should probably guess first for too low a number, then too high, or too high a number, then too low. So I'm going to do the low first. So if, and in here, I'm going to come in here again and find my less than. All right. And I want my current guess. So if my current guess is less than the random number, okay, then I want to give a message that says, you know, your guess was too low, please try again. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of those says, and I'm going to actually grab and then copy it. Okay, so I want 2 of them. You'll see why in just a moment. All right, so guess too low, guess too low, please try again. And again, I like to leave mine out a little longer than the 2 seconds, so I'm going to make it 4 seconds. If it wasn't too low, it either was too high or it was correct. So I'm going to put another if, then, else in here, in my else, right there. There we go. All right. And I again want to check, but now I want to check if my current guess was greater than the random number. And if that's the case, let's duplicate this again. Then I want to come in here and I want to say guess too high, please try again. And again, I'll put it in there for 4 seconds. Now, the program by no means is done, but I should be able to show you a couple things here. You already saw those error checks, so I'm not going to show those again. But if I come in here and run the program, and I put in, it's probably a number it's probably not 1. So I'll put in 1 there. Guess too low, please try again. It's also probably not 99. Okay, so both of those are now working. So I'm able to go in and keep making guesses. That's good. If I get down to here, I've guessed the right number. So I want to give them a message, but I don't want it to just say, you know, you were correct. I could do that, but that's not what I want. I want to say something like, you guessed the magic number in 6 guesses or in 2 guesses or whatever. To do that, I'm going to come over here and replace the word hello, and I'm going to go down towards the bottom of my sensing, and there's a thing in there that says join. Thought that was blue. Maybe it isn't. So looks. Maybe it's a different color. Oh my goodness, come on. I know it's down near the bottom of one of these. And it has, I believe, the words apple and banana. Oh, it's down here. There we go. Now that contains, there it is, join. So I want this to say correct. Oops. Correct. You guessed the secret number in, and hit the space bar once. And I want to say something like 4 guesses. So I'm going to use another one of these joins, replace the word banana with a join, and I want number of guesses here, and then I want space guesses. And that's exactly what I just told you. So in other words, what that's going to do is, let's say the number is 50 and I guess 50, and I guess it on my 4th guess. It'll say correct. You guessed the secret number in 4 guesses. It's exactly what I want to have happen. All right. Now, that's all fine and dandy, but I have to ask the player if they want to play the game again. All right, so I'm going to go over to my blue, and I'm going to find an ask. And you can put any message in here you'd like, but I'll just say play another game, question marks, and then we'll expect them to put in a yes or a no, something like that. All right. Now what we have to do, and literally we only have, I'd say, about 4 or 5 more lines to go. We're done with this program. All right. So we want to say if, so I need to come back down here again. I need another if else. So if my guess, all right, if my guess was, and that's answer, remember, so that's blue. So if my answer was equal to yes, so here's the equal to right there. All right, and here's answer. So if my answer was equal to yes or a Y, that means I want to play again. Technically, I don't have to do anything, but it never hurts. I'm going to reset that flag to true. When I say that flag, I mean play again. So I'm going to say set play again to true. And if it's not the case, okay, I didn't put in a Y, then I want to set play again to false, meaning that I want to end. Now, that's all fine. That's all dandy. Okay, but not only do I want to set this to true, but remember, I have to go and prepare for a new game. So I want to take just a minute here and go over this literally line by line. All right. Whoops. What I did there. That's okay. So first we came in and we created this prepare for a new game. And it has in here, so the program's still running, but I'll stop it and I'll start it again. There's my welcome message right there. That's this welcome message. It stays up for 4 seconds. It initializes the variables. It picks a random number and it says that it was generated. Start guessing. Then So that's everything that's done. This calls this. Then we tell it, as long as we want to keep playing, please enter a number. And there's that right there. So I'll put in 50. All right. I put in 50 and it says, guess too high, please try again. So after I put in the 50, it didn't check for anything out of range because it was valid. If I would have put it out of range, we already checked that. We know that that works. So we came in here, the number we put in was greater than the random number, so our guess was too high. So let's try 25. And it says guess too low. So our number should be between 26 and 49, unless I made a mistake somewhere. So let's try 37. That's too low. All right, try again. How about 44? I got it in 4 guesses. Notice now it's going to come back, play another game, and if I say yes for a Y for yes, it's going to go through the whole process all over again. All right, now I went through this in about a half an hour, and we spent closer to an hour this morning going through it. Now, part of that was we had people talking, we had people who had problems, etc. with it. And I noticed that when I went to the participants, whoops, that looks like Ty, you are here. Do you have any questions on what we've done?
Can I see the top again? Wait, never mind.
Right here? I'll leave the whole thing up for a couple minutes.
Okay. That's all I needed.
That's all you needed? All right.
Yeah.
You had all this? Did everything work?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions on anything? Is there anything that doesn't make sense?
No, I pretty much understand it.
Okay. All right. Then just let me tell you this. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the share. So the book, it's going to look a little different on screen in just a minute. So new share. This morning, I sent everyone out an email, and in that email was a zip file. And in that zip file are the document I'm about to spend about a couple minutes going over with you, and what's in that zip file are 18 different images. 2 of those 18 images are these right here. I decided to give you guys a little assignment, so to speak. If you want to do it, fine. If you don't have time, or you have problems with it, or you just don't want to do it, period, that's also fine. But the idea with this is one of the built-in sprites. It's called the wizard, I believe. And when the program starts, the wizard says, in 5 seconds, we will flip a coin 10,000 times. Well, we aren't really flipping it, but what we're doing is we're generating a random number, and if we generate a 1, it's a head. If we generate a 2, it's a tails. So we do that, and then when we get done, we let the user know the total number of heads they have and the total number of tails. It'll probably never be 500 total heads and 500 total tails, all right? But it'll be pretty close, and when you look at this is pretty close, all right? And then when you get done, you ask if you want to play again. Now, just to show you this, I did not show this to the students this morning, but I'll just show it to you right now. It's no big thing one way or the other. And that is, let me bring this back up again. And let me open up a new tab. All right, and go to Scratch. And tomorrow I will share this with everyone, but I said, why don't people just, if they want to, at least give it a try. But this is it. Again, it's not a whole lot of code, all right? But this is right here. This is for heads. This is for tails. It's just a couple lines for each one. This is the code that you have to put in. So that's all of it. So there really isn't a lot. And this is the code right here for the wizard. So if you run the program, If you run the program, it looks just like this. The wizard comes up in 5 seconds. We will flip a coin 10,000 times. It tells you after that, that's way too long, I guess, but it'll tell you how many heads you had, how many tails you had, and then it'll say, the wizard will come back and say, do you want to play again? If you say yes, it'll go through the same thing. If you say anything other than a Y, it'll stop the run. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so you have that. Now, this morning, when I sent the email out to everyone, all right, there was a zip file on there, and we had all sorts of problems with the zip file because some people had never seen a zip file before, some people had never used a zip file before, etc. Do you know what a zip file is?
No.
No? Well, that's the file right here. What it is it's a bunch of files that I put in a folder and then I bundled them together. So when I sent it, it would be smaller. So you've got this file right now. All right?
Okay.
And if you don't know what a zip file is or how to use it, the other thing that somebody told me today that I could do, and I'd never done this before, was I've got to stop my share for a minute. And then I have got to come down here and go in the chat window. Now I'm in the chat window, and you probably got this morning, but just in case, I click on File, and I'll say My Computer, and I've got to find this zip file, Day 2. All right. Now you should have that file in the chat area of Zoom. And if you get that, and you write, I don't know what you do with it from here, but what you have to basically do, for lack of better words, all right, what you have to do is you have to get those images. Now, let's say, okay, you try it and you can't get the images. You say, hey, I tried, I just can't do it. I don't know what the problem is. So is there anything that I can do? And the answer is, of course there is. All right. One thing that you can do if you want to, you personally right now, you can go out to scratch.mit.edu, start up a new Scratch session. All right. And then in there, type in, so let me show it to you. Hold on. Right, I'm gonna have to keep playing with my share here for a minute. If you go out to this URL that's right here, https://scratch.mit.edu/projects/406-479-129. Some people had to remove the slash, some people needed it, but either way, that should give you a copy of my code. There should be a button after you do that up here someplace that says remix. And if you click the remix button, you should then have a copy of my code put on your system.
I got the code. So.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend some time going over the code rather than you having to key it in. Let's just take a look at the code.
Okay.
All right. So now don't worry, I'm going to do another screen share. I want to bring this back. It's going to look real small, but I just want to move it around on the screen, so don't worry about that. Oops. All right. So there are a lot of things in here. When you look on the screen right here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of these 8-ball things. I've got 16 of them on there. All right. And,
all right.
and each one of those what's going to happen when you run the program? In fact, let me run it just to show you real quick what's going to happen. All right, so we come up here and we run it. Welcome to the Magic 8-Ball program. Ask me any question that you dare. All right, so I'm going to just come down here. What is your question? I'm going to type in, is it hot out today? All right, and then click here, and you can hear it. It's like shaking the 8-ball.
Mm-hmm.
And that answer makes no sense, but do I want to play again? Yes, I'll try it again. All right, I'll try the same question. Is it hot out today? No doubt. So I don't want to play anymore, so I type in something other than a Y, and I'm done. All right, so let's take a look at all the code that made that happen. Okay, this code that you see right here, this is the code for the cat. This is Scratch. So this says when you click to start a brand new program, I want to hide every one of these things. If I don't hide these, I'm going to have 16 of these things showing on the screen at one time. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so if you look at each one of these, notice when I receive this broadcast message, hide sprites, hide. When I receive this broadcast message, hide sprites, hide. And there are 15 of those. All right, so that's what I'm doing at the beginning of the program. That's what this does, is it hides all of the sprites. Now it's a little different because I do want this one to show. So here I said when you receive that, instead of having you hide, whoops, wrong one. Instead of having you hide, I actually want you to show. So when I receive that, hide sprites, okay, I want you to show. So I could do it here, but I decided to have another message that said, show the main sprite ball, and then it shows. So I want to make sure when the program starts, just that one shows and the cat. So that's how I chose to do it. All
Okay.
right. So then we get the message. You already saw this. Welcome to the Magic 8-Ball program. Ask me any question you dare. 5 seconds might be a little bit too much time. We could knock it down to 3, for example. All right. And I really don't need this wait, but I waited for a second. Then
Okay.
I broadcast this message, and this broadcast that you see right here where I've got the mouse going, that is the one that brought the 8-ball back, the first 8-ball. Okay?
Okay.
Then I set play again to true, and what that means is I want to play another game. So now the rest of the code from right here on, all of this code is inside of this repeat loop. Every bit of code is inside of the repeat loop. All right? So I said repeat 20 times. Now, I'm going to show you something here. I want to show you how we got this sound right there. In fact, I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to put a better one in. And we don't want this to shake 20 times. I'm going to put this in here just 3 times. You're going to see why in just a second. All right? But first of all, if I want to go and add a new sound, which is what I wanted to do, I click sound over here. Okay? And
Okay.
when I do, what I want is I want to play sound until done. Okay? And when it comes up on yours, it'll say meow because that's the only sound that'll be there. Okay? If you want to add a new sound, you go over here to sounds, right there, and you click down on the bottom where it says choose a sound. Now I chose shaker, which is about 2/3 of the way down. This is in alphabetic order, and there's shaker, and you can hear it.
I can hear it.
You will hear it when you run it on yours, okay?
Wait.
But
Okay.
you can also, if you don't hear it, you can go back here. If you look, you can set the volume up if you want to. In fact, I can do that even on mine. All right, so I'm going to go back to my code, and not only am I going to play that sound, all right, so not only am I going to play that sound, but I'm going to come in here and I'm going to set the volume, we'll say to 100%. All right.
Okay.
So now notice when I run this, it's going to sound a little bit different. Okay, so it's got to go through the stuff it does at the beginning. All right. Are you hungry? Now that's I left it on the meow, so I'm sure you could hear it. All right. Did you
Yes.
hear that meow?
Yes, I heard it.
Okay. So now I'll go back and I'll change it from meow back to shaker, and we'll run it again. Again, are you hungry? Now I'm going to hit enter, and when I do, listen, and you'll hear the shaker go 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And that's supposed to simulate if you shake the magic 8 ball. You could use any sound in there you wanted to. It doesn't really matter. All right. So then again, I wanted to make sure all of the sprites were hidden. Okay. So
Okay.
I hit it. I hide all of them there. I wait for 5 seconds. Then I basically bring everything back up again. So I say, do you want to play another game? So I asked, do you want to play again? If you do want to play again, we do all this stuff. We set play again to true, which will bring it up here. And as soon as we call play again, all right, we'll set everything up to play another game. All right. And if we don't, we'll be done. All right.
Okay.
Now, were you here this morning or not?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. So what I've just done is in about 45 minutes, gone through everything that I went through with them today in 2.5 hours. All right. I want to make sure you were able to go in and do a remix on this, so you've got your own copy. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And do you understand what you are supposed to be doing for that coin flip program if you want to do that?
Yes, I do understand.
Okay. Then just so you see this, the plan is then tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to build a single player maze game. All right. So when you run it, it's going to look, when you basically start up, etc., it's going to look like this. Let's bring it up. This is a monkey down here. It's pretty little on purpose. And this is the bananas that, of course, the monkey wants.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And let's see. So if I run this and I want to start playing, I want the monkey to basically notice I'm using my arrow keys here. And hopefully you can see the monkey moving.
Okay.
All right. And the idea is, and I'm not too swift at this game, to be honest with you. If you play it, you'll probably be better than I am after one try. But the point is, if I go through all of this stuff that's in here, eventually I'll get to here. I'll get to where the bananas are, and it'll play a different sound. In fact, the sound that it will play, just in case you care, all right, is, let's see, where is it?
It's right there on the second one.
No, it's, yeah, there you go. You're right. Play sound cheer. So what is that going to do? Well, if we go back to sounds, here's the cheer. Well, let's go listen to it this way. I'll go back to sounds here, and we'll find cheer. So that's what'll happen if the monkey wins. All right. Then
Okay.
after we get done with that, we will go in and talk about how to make this a two-player game. All right. And we will look at the 2-player. And with the 2-player game, multiplayer, whatever you want to call it, there will, as it says, there will be 2 players, and it's kind of hard to see, but let's bring it up over here. There's the monkey, there's the bananas, and then we've got an elephant, and the elephant is going here for, the elephant is going for an apple. And if we run this, the monkey still uses all of the arrow keys that we talked about before, but so it can be a 2-player game, the elephant comes in and the elephant uses the A, the S, the D, and the W keys to move around. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so we will do that tomorrow. Then on Thursday, we will come in, and first we will come in and we will create a simple brick breaker game. And maybe you've seen these kinds of games already, maybe you've played them already. But when we play it, if I get all 28, it'll give me a U1. I only got 3, so it says game over. But that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but you may or may not have noticed, not real exciting looking. Okay, so after we get done with that, we will next come in and we will look at extending that game to make it look, act, feel, react a lot better. All right, so when we run it again, you can already see how it's changed. Plus, as we go in, you can hear sound.
Mm-hmm.
The color is changing on the paddle as we're playing, etc. And I didn't put it in yet, but we'll have color. So when the ball hits the bricks, it'll make some noise too. So tomorrow will be the maze game. Thursday will be the brick breaker game. Friday, when you all come in, I'm going to give you some requirements. I'm going to say, hey, create yourself a program that does A, B, C, D, E, and F. You figure out whatever characters or sprites you want. You make them do whatever you want. And then we're going to look at what everybody did. Does all that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, if you have no questions, I don't mean to, to shortchange you. If you want to go over anything, that's fine. And if you understand it, we can just call it a period.
I understand it.
Okay. All right, then I will talk to you tomorrow. Are you going to be here during the day or in the afternoon tomorrow?
On that day.
Okay. I'll see you then. Have a good day.
All right.
All right.
You too.
Bye-bye.